round one is all done. The Bruins advance. Unfriggin' real. The Habs advance. Even more unreal. The Flyers advance. Crazy. Just crazy, man. Crazy. Crazy. So, I'm going to try to keep this one under 10 minutes because I got a shitload of notes I took just because I haven't made a video in about a week again. So, I think I made my last video last Thursday. So, the Bruins played Game 5 in Buffalo on Friday night, and they looked like shit. Skated slow. They just looked awful. They didn't look like they were moving. It just looked like they were in slow motion. And maybe it was because I just saw bad shit when I looked up because I was at a bar. Or maybe they, I don't know. But they looked real bad. I think they lost 4-1. So, Game 6 back home Monday night at the Garden. I was there. And, they wrapped up that series, and they'd only led for a period, but they led all of Game 6. I mean, it was great. They scored in the first, and they held the lead the whole time, and Buffalo made it interesting, but the Bruins were definitely in command. So let's get right into it here. So let's talk about the Bruins first, and then I'll move on to some other stuff. They scored. They scored goals in that Game 6, usually, it's 1 or 2 goals a game, but, they put up 4. Penalty kill. Wow. Buffalo was 0 for 19 on the power play. 0 for 19. We killed off every single penalty they had. And now the Bruins' power play wasn't the greatest this year. They were 17th at the end of the season. And they had trouble all year long. They would struggle with the power play. But in this series, they went 6 for 22 with the man advantage. The big player for me this series would have to be Johnny Boychuk. I mean, I know guys like Krejci had great games, and I just think Boychuk, being who he is and how young he is and how new he is, and being in his first NHL playoff series, he did great. Threw hits, played real great on that defensive pairing with Chara. Another series I followed real closely was, actually, let's back up a second. More about the Bruins. So, Savad is returning for round 2, and the Bruins have scratched Sean Thornton, which I think is just basically greenlighting Carcillo to go after Savvy. Mark my words, Carcillo will go after Mark Savard. And at that point, who goes back and retaliates? Someone's going to have to get in there and throw the gloves down with Carcillo to get him to back off Savard. And I just don't know who it's going to be. I don't know who I want it to be. With Thornton, let him beat him up. Let Thornton take the penalty. Let Thornton sit in the box. I mean, when we take a bench penalty, Thornton's the guy that serves it. The rationale is that leaving Blake Wheeler in the lineup and not scratching him instead of Thornton is because Blake Wheeler's fast, he can move, he can spread out the defense of the Flyers with guys like him and Sturm, but I don't really agree with it, so we'll see how that pans out tomorrow. Game's at 12:30, I'm ready to go, I'm pumped. I mean, I really don't know how I can take this. I was flipping out at the end of Game 6. I fell into the row of seats in front of me because I was jumping up and down, and I fell into the row in front of me. It was pretty friggin' funny. I didn't fall down, but I landed on the seat standing. And the guy in front of me looks back, just like, what the hell is this kid doing, jumping into my row? The other series that I paid real close attention to, just because I got a lot of coverage for it, was the Montreal-Washington series. First of all, the Montreal diving team, I don't know how they beat the Capitals. The Capitals had the best power play, the most points, and I know they're not a strong defensive team, but they're an offensive powerhouse, and when they were up 3-1, I thought the series was lights out. If you go back and look at one of my previous videos when I'm wearing the old Bruins sweater, you'll hear me saying that one, that I pretty much thought the Habs were done after they blew that 4-1 lead and lost 6-5 in overtime. But they shut them down after that. You look at the scores the first 3 games, and, Cap scored many goals, 4 and 5 or something like that. I mean, they scored 6 in that game that they won in overtime. And then after that, it was like 1 goal, 1 goal, 1 goal. And then that's mainly due to Yaroslav Halak. I mean, that guy got hot. He got real hot. And with the power play for Washington, the best power play in the NHL, they went 1 for 33. 1 for 33. And in Game 7, Montreal blocked 33-plus shots. I didn't get the final statistic out of that game. I'd have to guess it was like 35, 36, maybe even 37. They blocked a shitload of shots. Guys are not afraid of getting in front of them. So, kudos to the Habs. Keep it rolling. I do not want to play Pittsburgh. Unlike every other motherfucker in the city of Boston who wants to play Pittsburgh, I don't. They're not going to retaliate against Cook, and, with Savvy back, and let's say Thornton sits out until, who knows when, they're not going to go after Cook. They're not going to retaliate in the playoffs. You could almost say that they could get an instigator call, premeditative or whatever, fighting against Cook. How many beatings are they going to give the guy? They gave him one wimpy-ass beating and then nothing else the night that they played him. The first game, they played him after the hit, but you guys want the lowest seed. I was called the loser fan because I wanted the lowest seed. Are you kidding? I want the easiest road to the cup. It's going to be tough enough to win against the West Coast teams because they're all so good. Unless some low seed sneaks through, I want the easiest road to get to the finals, and we'll go from there. So round 2, Philadelphia, they're pretty banged up. I think they're missing Carter. They're missing Simon Gagne. Boucher was the best goalie in round 1. I give us, we're rated, the strong ones, they're the underdogs, and I think we got a good chance. I think we got a great chance, I'm a pretty good judge of these things, and I told you how it was going to go down with Buffalo, and it went down that way. So, bring on the Flyers, go Bruins. The West Coast, the only real series I watched out in the West was the Phoenix and the Detroit series because they got a couple of national coverage games, and Detroit pulled that out. I was surprised that they did. I thought they were going to lose, but they did have a ton of momentum going into the playoffs because they had to make a real strong push to get in the playoffs, and they did it, and now they're playing San Jose, and with San Jose's playoff record, there's no reason why Detroit can't steal this series from them and head to the finals. Go Wings. I really don't like San Jose, so go Wings. Go Bruins, and I'll see you guys next time.